Oh. Oh! Is that real? Oh shit!
Don't shine a light!
Cockroaches! Ah!
Don't shine!
Ah!
Don't go! I will follow you!
Ah! Ah! Holy shit!
That's it. Yeah, I know. Okay.
I really don't feel good. I'm getting a...
Is anyone here? What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.
Well, Reno, we are here recording this in your haunted house that you created. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Reno is the creative brains and the founder behind MovieMania, and it's been a brand that's been around for 18 years, 2 decades. Some of you are not even born yet in those times. And this is the man behind this concept of many of the haunted houses that you probably experienced but don't know who's behind it. This is that face. Now, Reno, tell us about this haunted house, this concept that you came up with.
All right, hi Eugene. Thank you for the invite and this interview. My name is Reno Tan from MovieMania. And yes, we are seated in our little make-believe kampong house where it's a Javanese theme horror at Tampines 1 Rooftop Mall. And this year we wanted to do something very different, a South Asian horror which we had never done before. We have been in the haunted house business for 18 years. Myself, I'm a cosplayer. I have quite a few supernatural experiences on my own. I'm very glad to be here today doing this interview on the last night of a haunted house.
And you're not just doing this at Tampines, there's 8 places all at the same time?
Correct. We had concurrently a few haunted houses in Jurong, Tampines West. We had one more last night, Telok Blangah. We have it in Orchard Road also at 313. And in a hotel in Singapore where we do decorations. But haunted houses are our signature events where MovieMania does a lot of events. We do movie character cosplay, superheroes, upcoming Transformers run, Optimus Prime, Hasbro, Transformer robots.
At Sentosa, right?
At Sentosa,
I'm going now for
correct.
that one as well.
Oh yeah, we'll be there, that one. Autobots all roll out, we will be there. But Halloween is our real signature events because we want to have fun. We let people have a chance to experience what we can do with a very little budget, but with creative minds putting together.
Yeah.
We try to make do with what we can do with the budget we were given.
So what made you fall in love with horror?
When I was young, I think my very first... Okay, I'm much older. I'm like 53 this year. And my first horror shows were The Exorcist, Salem's Lot, Poltergeist, So from young, I like horror and I've never been afraid of watching horror. And I like to tease my cousins, and some family who always will stop the videotape and never watch it. After 20 times, maybe in the daytime, they'll continue the show. So it started from there, but actually started cosplaying for myself when I was in Australia, when I had my first Halloween event when I was a student in Perth. So that was my first Halloween event. We dressed up, and then a Freddy Krueger, Phantom the Opera. And when I came back to Singapore, I brought this experience, this Halloween culture. Back then, there was nothing. What you see now in Halloween, it wasn't like that back in Singapore in the early 90s. So there was no horror, no Halloween, nothing much. So it became like an industry and it's a trend. Now everywhere, every community center, everywhere in Singapore, you can see a lot of Halloween events going on. I think that is the way the industry is growing.
Yeah. I can't help but have this question in my mind,
Yes,
right?
please, yeah.
When you put up this pocong, this skeleton hanging around, I kind of wonder if at night after you guys go home, And you have CCTV here. Do they capture anything moving, anything strange here?
We do have 5 cameras here, located here, 5 cameras, but we don't normally have the time to go through the video footage unless something goes bump in the dark. Or someone feels a little bit strange or a little bit uncomfortable. That's where we'll go back to CCTVs. But CCTVs are not enough because personally I will walk through all the sets and make sure that everything's fine before my scarers, start their day.
Yeah.
So we have a team of people. We will actually make sure anybody got any something strange they feel while acting. So far, Tampines 1 is very clean and very safe.
Yeah.
Nothing happens here. But another story I can tell you of an event that we did in Orchard Road. I will not mention the mall or building, but where we had 3 possession cases in one night. Before that incident, we never ever prayed at our events, at our haunted house. We never prayed because I'm Catholic. I don't believe in that. But since that one incident where we had 3 possession cases in one night where my scare crew, my talents were affected, and then we've seen the power of different religions at work. I've seen the power, the Muslim prayers, the Buddhist chanting, and of course our own Christian ways.
Yeah.
So from then onwards, for the last 10 years, we've always been praying at our sites, making some offerings before we start the show. So something I have to believe in too. Yeah.
I'm not going to let you walk away from today's confession without hearing that full story. 3 possessions in one night is no joke. And it happened at a haunted house, similar like this. It was for an event. Don't stitch on the details. Give me everything that happened from the start to the very end.
So I think this event we did in Orchard Road, it was a shopping mall. And it was built over Teochew Cemetery. It's very near Ngee Ann City. So without mentioning the mall, we did a haunted house there. And if you guys are investigators, you can investigate where exactly. But the thing is that we had one particular room where our scare talent was inside. And she came out and she was not herself. And then someone told me that something happened to this girl. And we brought her to the security area where we had the mall security guards. He was a Malay, a Muslim practitioner, and he had a talisman. He was telling us something was wrong with her. At the time, I'm new in all this. We didn't know what to do, and then he sort of prayed over her. So in Malay, he used salt and water. He asked for salt, and then he said keluar, keluar. Keluar means come out, come out.
Yeah.
So while he was praying over the first girl, there was a second girl who replaced her scare zone inside the same room, and the second girl came out also, and I saw in my own eyes that she had a 3-finger welt on her tummy. So it's like a mark, and they could see, but at the time it was like not nice to take photos of her. Yeah, the spider comes in again. So there was a 3-finger welt, claw mark on her body, and we started praying over her. So what happens because it was new to me, it took me by surprise. And the Malay guard, he passed us his phone. It was a Muslim prayer, like Allah, it's like Muslim prayer. It's a good prayer. When I brought the phone closer and closer to her, myself, I'm quite big size, and the guard, we were holding her down. And she was like struggling, and then we were really sweating profusely to hold her down. The moment the phone with the Muslim prayer come nearer to her, her reaction was stronger. And that was the second case. And we closed the whole zone. We don't let people enter the room. And to our surprise, the third girl came in. There was a third girl who came in, and she was a little bit more, I would say slightly more aggressive. She was down, and she was like making actions, you see. And they were definitely not themselves, because all 3 were very bubbly girls. We work with very young people and very bubbly. Hey, hi Reno, but you can see they're not themselves. So what happened is that the guard, he said he cleansed them, it's fine, and I told them to go home. The third girl, we prayed over her. He did praying over her. I was just watching. And the 3 of them, I asked them all go back home by cab, stop and go home and rest, and had an escort to send them home. The next day, I had a call, and they went to school. The 3 girls went to school. They were in a school in Ang Mo Kio, and they told me that the third girl, the grandma saw her bring something home. I was like, oh shit, when I heard the phone call, the grandma saw something that the third girl brought home. So it was not totally cleansed. So what happened is that I arranged to meet the girls at the mosque in Hougang. And sadly, because the imam was busy and he couldn't couldn't meet them at all. So I started calling I'm from a Catholic background. I started calling my auntie who goes to church every day, every week, but she was afraid, and to come down and help pray over them. And then we tried to get a priest who was very busy, so he couldn't make it. So I called a friend. A friend recommended me a Buddhist exorcism practitioner in Yishun. You know, I will not mention his name, but we went to bring him to bring the girls for a blessing.
Okay.
So I'm Catholic, and the girls are Muslim, and then we went to see a Buddhist practitioner. So when he went there, without describing much to him, I've never met him before. The first two girls was okay. He sort of cleansed them, and the night before, the guard told me that it was a little girl. The girl was lonely. When she saw our Halloween sets and stuff, she felt that she wanted to make friends. So that was what the guard told me the night before. Okay, I took it back in. The next day, when we went to Yishun, we went to meet this master, and he saw and he cleansed with the leaf and the holy water, is the Buddhism way, and then he said his chanting prayers, and then he told me that the little girl's spirit left. So I've never met him before, and I was in the same room, and I connected the dots, what the Malay guy said the night before the guard, and what the Chinese, the monk, the master said. So he's also said something that only I would know, because it happened in a corner. This was at a stage where a haunted room was there, and it really happened in this corner. This particular scare room was in a corner. I don't know where he got it from, and I was instantly surprised, but sort of believed him when he mentioned it happened in a corner, because we never told him where he was. So I asked him what to do then, you know. So he told me this girl is fine, and she was really okay. You can see the difference. These are things you have to see to believe. You can read all the books, you watch all the YouTube, but when you see a person with something and without that something in the person, you can see that life, you know, through the eyes.
The eyes is the main thing that you will
It's like
notice
so
the
dead
difference.
and so down, and then before that, after the cleansing, the person is so much better. So you can feel light and positive energy from the person. So I really believe when he said the girl is cleansed. So yeah, it was something never happened before. And 3 times in one night, I went around telling all my friends and family back home to whichever religion you are, even if you're not a religious person, just be strong. If your cup is full, nothing else can come into you. That's what I believe from then.
This is, I got to send this to Edwin Tong. This is a religious harmony story right there, man.
Religious harmony is of existential importance to Singapore and our people. We are one of the world's most religiously diverse countries.
Now, what was the theme of that particular house? I'm wondering if that has anything to do with the spirit.
No, I don't think a theme, because every year we change theme. It can be a zombie theme, it can be an Asian horror theme, it can be... So I can't particularly remember what theme it was, but because it was just the settings. I think when you are doing events over this sort of thing, we have like, you know, maybe these spirits do feel friendly when they want to come out. And especially where the place is not a very clean area. So it all depends on the area and the shopping mall. So for 10 over years, almost 8 years, 9 years after the incident, nothing else ever happened in any of our sites. And we have a lot of sites this year. And of course, because we also started praying after this one incident. So that makes a difference. The praying and a little bit of offering. So now I understand why people pray, what they do best. And I understand now from a personal experience. Before that, we never prayed. After that, every year we prayed.
I'm sure some people are probably curious and might want to bless their place as well when they do certain things. Is there a specific way that you do it, that you learn from someone, or can you even share your methods? Okay,
so for us, I picked up something from that day was salt. Very basic sea salt that all of us should have at home. So different cultures, they experience salt differently. So if you watch the movies, holy water, it depends on the religion, what you put, amulet, talisman, whatever. But I think if you're sincere to pray, and then you sprinkle salt in certain areas where you feel it needs to be cleansed, I think it helps. But of course, you have to be strong. You cannot be a weak person doing these things, because you may attract or invoke spirits which are stronger than us. So you have to be a person of strong. You have your own strength, you're confident, and you don't need to be super religious, but importantly, you have to be strong. Nothing else can come to you. Show that positivity.
That would work probably for most wandering spirits, curious spirits, wants to be friends. But when it comes to a slightly more serious case like demonic possession, right? That may require a different level of intervention. And I've spoken to many people regarding their confessions, and to say that demonic possession is rare is probably an understatement. I probably hear like one in maybe 5 years, right? And you have one story for us. And it's not even, it's something that's so popular that it became the talk of the school every time you meet up in your friends. So I know we don't want to mention certain names to protect the identity of the person, but tell us what you can about that particular incident.
Okay, demonic possession is a very, very different ballgame. It's what you've seen in the movies where it's a very strong possession case, and it's something that I experienced once. I hope I don't need to experience it personally again. It's different from what I mentioned about the 3 curious spirits, simple possession. But demonic possession is a different level. When I was a student, I was studying in a certain boys' school, and there was a case in 1986. There was a case where someone I know was possessed, and there were many witnesses around us in the school. All right, so without mentioning what, it's a relative and some things that we don't talk about it, but it's something that I seen my own eyes. It's not exactly what you watch in movies, until a Catholic priest was called in. There was Father Chi. He was a Catholic exorcist priest at the time. He was called in, and then he had to do a rite of exorcism. And it's not like what you watch in the movies. He's prepare himself, put on the vestment. It's not like a one day within the 2 hours and the spirit, the demon is exorcised. It's not like that. It's over a few weeks and months, and with the support of the family praying together. So it was very important that I was not Catholic then. My parents didn't allow me to go take a look. But this is what we heard, and there were quite a few cases, but it's not always the person afflicted has it, you see. So sometimes it's okay, he can be talking normal, sometimes it just comes and goes. So it is something that we not wish to happen to anyone, and I hope it's very rare in Singapore. But something like this that's almost 30 years, and I can't believe I'm still talking about it, and I'm surprised that you heard of this story too. But you are because you're from Supernatural Confession, you guys probably know a lot of things that's going on in Singapore.
But when the person was afflicted with the demonic thing, right, how did they behave?
He spoke with a different voice, and he has this animalistic features. It's not like what it's not like a werewolf, but it's him, but yet it's not him. And it's the eyes, the cold, lifeless eye. It's like something about the eyes that gives it away. And the voice, it's a very guttural voice, and the strength, he has an energy to lift up a table, the prefect's table, so strong. They locked him in a room, and when I saw face to face through a glass door, I know I should know him because it's a relative, but yet he looks very different. So this incident happened intermittently. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it just comes in. It can be day, it can be night, it can be in classroom, it can be even anywhere. It can just happen. So it's something unforgettable, and at the end of it, everything's good. Good triumphs over. And after a period of time, with the prayers for the exorcist and the family, it brought the family closer together, that's for sure. And all of us went to church after that. After everything, he had a very normal life. And
how long was the
whole period? I think it took a few months. A few months, but finally he got over it. It was totally cleansed and exorcised. But it's just over a few months. It's not what you watch in a movie, 2 hours.
When I understand about demonic possession, my personal opinion is that demons don't just randomly come and bounce into someone's body. There's usually a reason for that. Either the person is born under a particular star and it makes him susceptible to certain things, or he summoned it himself. When back in school when we were students, we play Spirit of the Plan, we play Ouija board, right?
Correct.
Did he summon something, or did someone send it to him?
It was on the dare that they go to a haunted house on a visit. So there were a few storylines how it came about. But I heard one is that they went to a haunted house, they dared each other to go. The other two friends chickened out, but only he went in, and he came out different. And when he was in the hospital, we also interviewed and asked him, So he sort of could feel something coming in, and he sort of willingly let it because he was curious. So that was giving permission, and that is a no-no for all these things that happen. Never give permission for these things.
It brought me back to my old younger days when I started paranormal investigation. I did stupid things, and one of them was telling the spirit, you can use my body or you can touch me. Of course, I will never do that now. I never advise that, but I could imagine how things would have gone so wrong back then.
Yeah.
Ignorance, curiosity.
Correct. We never had people telling us no, because last time back then there was no internet, there was no YouTube, there was no podcast, no channels like Supernatural Confessions telling us what not to do, what to do. So everything we had to do, and we find out the hard way that you don't say yes to such things, you see.
He doesn't get possessed every other day.
No.
Is there like a specific time, like 7 o'clock, 3 a.m., he shouts, he screams? What was the general pattern like? I'm trying to just understand this demonic entity a little bit better.
Okay, so for myself, I wasn't with him 24 hours,
Yeah.
so I'm not too sure, but it happened in school, so it was a school day.
Okay.
School hours. So school was from 7:30 to about 1:30 the afternoon. So morning. It happens at night also. So there's no pattern lah, I would say.
Okay.
It's not like 3 a.m. or something like that. So it just happens, and that's why I was called into the school.
Okay. So I can imagine that from first-hand experience, this wears down the family, and I'm glad to hear that you said the family actually bonded and got closer together. Most times the stress and pressure tears people apart.
Correct. It's very tough for the family, especially the immediate family, and you can see the suffering, the sorrow, the pain, the heartache that, when a person afflicted goes through. So it's very tough for the family especially, and it's also at the end, it's a family that pulls him out of it together with the priest. So you've seen the down, but you also seen the upside of the family's prayers and strength and love that pulled him out of the whole thing.
Power of faith and
Power of
family,
faith and love for the
yeah.
family. So it's really worked. So you've seen the whole thing. Of course, something that we hope it doesn't happen often in Singapore. We would not want. So those watching this channel, please don't play Ouija board. Please don't invite or give permission to things. That is something, I'll tell you now.
Was there a demand made by the demon? Like, the demon ever manifest and says, I want the life of this boy, I want his soul, or something to that
I
effect?
cannot say with certainty exactly what the demon wanted, because its memory is a bit fading.
Yeah.
I probably will write some notes down and conduct some interviews and do some research properly.
Yeah.
But offhand, I can't recall what the demon wanted. But obviously, he wanted something. That's why he took over him.
Yeah. At the very end, was there a switch? Like suddenly he just wakes up, or was it a gradual exorcism?
It was a gradual exorcism that went well.
Okay.
It's not instant, but it went through phases.
Yeah.
And then finally, it's cleansed, and the priest said, "Job done." Yeah.
I'm assuming you're still in contact with him now?
Yes, I am.
So how, does he even recall this instance 20, 30 years ago?
We don't really talk about it.
Okay.
So we see, but we just avoid the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Maybe you can try, but we just really don't talk about it. What happened? Because it's just maybe it's the Asian culture. We talk about it, maybe remind something
Pantang, right?
Pantang, yes.
You might
or what
take
I'll
it
use.
back again.
You might take it back again.
Yeah.
So the things that we don't talk about it, we don't mention names or schools or whoever it is, but just someone related.
Okay. I think we come to the end of that particular confession. Just a couple of other questions to wrap up today's interview.
Okay.
Are you not afraid of these things? Like, what's your gut level like?
Oh no, I'm not afraid of these things, because I'm always the first. When I set up, I'll come out the creative aspects of it, how to scare people. When thousands of people visiting our haunted houses, we want them to have fun, want them to be scared, want them to cry, want them to laugh. So, like I said, the difference right now is after the incident, we always pray.
Yeah.
Even if they tell us to pray, if they don't tell us, we always will pray.
Yeah.
And I will walk through the first round myself. I can do it alone. I'm not a very religious person. I don't go to church every week. I should go every week, but I don't. But I still believe in God, and I will go through every event of mine personally to make sure I feel fine. If I feel anything uncomfortable, I will know where to focus on. These are things you do feel it. I cannot see, but I can feel. Yeah, I can feel. Yeah, I mean, it's not a power I would wish to have. Some people I know they can see, but I can feel it.
Yeah.
So when I walk through, I always walk through before my scare talents come, because I don't want anything to happen to other people.
Okay.
And as a boss, as an owner, you want to be responsible for the crew.
Thank you, Reno. And all the best for your future endeavors.
All right,
there
he
he
says
goes
bye
again.
to you. Yep. All right.
Bye.
Right. I have to feed him his food. Yeah, so he'll feel hungry.
It's real. And on your face as well.
Lipas. Sedap.
Alright, squeeze, huh? Okay, so total same thing, 3 shots. Okay. Fucking hell.
Hey, my friend, who's there, my friend? Hello. Yeah. I will follow you. Where's my friend? Thank you.
3, 2, and 1.
It's amazing. It's frightful, and I think they did a very good job.
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.